Thanks for coming to the third of what I also think is a very optimistic part of our talk. So we've heard about ways that product developers and the market from one of my very favorite people, Mike, is looking to a better future. And then we heard from Karen, an incredible set of innovations happening at the restaurant level, with the chef level, and in partnership with farmers about a future perfect. And I'm going to talk now about how we bring all of the consumers into the mix to actually shepherd us much more quickly to where we want to go. So empowering the crowds to shape this food revolution, I'm excited that we actually have an opportunity now where a lot of the barriers to faster progress that's more optimistic and more healthy can be achieved. So I'm the founder of Barnraiser, and we are a modern social marketplace. This is a place for people to find and shop, and then of course connect to makers and contribute to the kind of communities and the kind of world that they want. And it really is targeted at millions, and there are millions of people who are now driving this new food and wellness economy, and that's a good thing, and I'm going to talk about those people and what a modern social marketplace means. So how do we create a future perfect? By engaging the power of a really amazing consumer movement. Who is the hidden player in this revolution? What kind of challenges can they help producers overcome? And how do we enable that power to unlock a lot more of the kind of world that we want faster than it has been? And how do we celebrate your role? So who is this consumer group? It has been coined the new CEO of food. This is exciting. The power has shifted. 80 million consumers just in America alone have started this revolution, but I want to paint the picture for you. I actually think it's very, very, very early. It's very early, and it's still very fragmented. So imagine these people who are already expecting food to be fair, healthy, and green, and buying decisions to be connected through the devices that they use all day long, to be conversational. Who do they trust most? Who do they influence the most? Their inner networks and local communities. And they expect to be able to influence those communities and learn from those communities. Now, how many of you have children under 15? The best part of this slide to me is that those people, their children, are the mass market of tomorrow. My 11-year-old said, by listening to the radio, a commercial came on for McDonald's, and he said, unprompted, well, you know, they're having financial problems because they give people cancer. So imagine in another 8 years or so, they're going to be talking about what Karen was just talking about. Or they're going to be excited by a product that's called crop crackers, right? So the storytelling of how we kind of write our food world is starting to be embedded in these products, and it's all around them. So imagine what that looks like when they become of purchasing age. Meanwhile, you have tons of innovation. You have an explosion of people. Every corner of America you look for, there are people attempting in small, medium, and larger ways to put better products in the market, to innovate socially like the Perennial is doing. What do they have around them? They have a fast-changing and very difficult retail environment. They have lots of online digital environments that they have to try and master. They're working in a low-margin environment, and they don't have efficient ways with better margins to reach these people. So you've got two sides of a market that could create a lot more explosion that are blocked in a lot of ways from that explosion to happen. So they're aligned, but they face barriers, and those barriers are starting to get even steeper more rapidly. Consolidation and automation is absolutely going to put fewer choices in front of these consumers when they want more choices or different choices or choices that match their values or choices that support their community and businesses in their community. So this disadvantages the smaller and the emerging brands and the very people that these consumers want to buy from, right? opposed to the consumer trend. So how do we empower the crowds? What we're particularly focused on is connecting those market maker constituents, the consumers, the emerging producers, the social influencers, into a powerful community to give the opportunity for hypergrowth. So what do we do at Barnraiser? We've put together a marketplace where you as individual consumers, in the form that you're used to engaging online, can find more of what you like based on your interests, your values, and get personalized recommendations over 35,000 different producers' products by location, characteristic, topic. So you might start out interested in heirloom grains and end up learning about Kernza, and then end up learning about the perennial and Karen's work, right? So by using data and giving people really lightweight interactions, we can start to expose them to more and more topics and more amazing products and things that they can support. Personal connections create more relevancy. So there are people behind stories. There are people in your network and influencers, and as you learn about those people, you get to see what they know, and they unlock their world for you, and vice versa. So it reduces the effort in finding more people for those social innovators and producers, and it keeps the engagement extremely high. It's interesting, there's unanticipated things you learn, you find, it gets a little bit habitual, and all of a sudden, you're able to actually support more products that you want to either know about or buy from, or community projects that you want to fund. And so that leads me to the third part. It's great to be aware. I want to take action. How do I take more action? How do I put my money where my mouth is? Well, you're able to actually buy. We've just launched small batch commerce, which is selling events for some of these emerging brands to host, and you're able to give. So the Perennial had a fundraising project on Barnraiser and continue to be exposed to more people and continue to drive more awareness for their projects and money into their work. So it relates self-interest with altruistic interest, which is very much a big trend for these consumers, and certainly for younger and future and more consumers. And I should add that this trend of this growing emerging consumer base is not largest in the US. It's actually largest in other parts of the world, which means we've got the real power to shift how we need to food systems across the world. So I invite you all to join us in creating a future perfect. Add your business for free as on Barnraiser to be discovered. Talk to us about hosting a small batch event. Join our community of makers. Start to curate your tastes for others. Tell the world what you know, what you're excited about. You're going to see thousands of amazing products today. We want millions of people to know about them. Even if they're on the shelf at Whole Foods, they're still new to millions of people. So we need to support the kind of change that we want to see in the world, and now consumers are the important third leg of that support. So thank you.